Hey everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about land and how much we hate it. We hate lands. Gosh. Well, actually, you hate your opponent's land. In this deck, we're running about 40, which is a little more than I like to run, but the reason why is we're going to be killing off a bunch of lands. Now, we have a rather ambitious artifact mana because with Numot, you're going to want to have the 3 mana when he attacks. So you're going to run all of your artifact mana to make sure that you can pay his ability. Now, did I say attack? I do apologize. When he deals damage, you spend 3 to nuke 2 lands. Now, the cool thing about Numot is every time he deals combat damage, you spend 3 mana, destroy 2 lands. 2 lands. So, if he had double strike, he deals the combat damage twice. Once in the first strike step and once in the regular combat damage step. So, you spend 3 mana for the first strike, you spend 3 mana for the... Yes, that's 6 mana, I know what you're thinking, that's a lot of mana. We've got it. And the ability to destroy 4 lands while doing 12 commander damage is outstanding. Sorry, it just is. There is a lot of hate in this deck. I mean a whole lot of it. There is obviously a lot of the double strike, and it's a triggered ability, so we might as well copy it. Speaking of, I run the Orca Squatters here simply because it's one of those cards that I run that I don't know since this card was printed in Ice Age if I have ever seen it in play that I haven't cast it. The ability to steal a land is pretty neat. I really kind of like it, and you know, you can make it deal combat damage. That's not a problem. But as far as the double strike stuff, I mean, I'm running all the blue, white stuff that obviously gives your stuff double strike. Now, we are destroying lands, so we might as well be running a Dingus Egg because, let's face it, Numot is popping 2 lands a turn. And that's what's more, I kind of almost wish for this deck, I kind of wish Numot wasn't a 6/6, because if he was like a 4/4 or a 3/3, you could get more hits and destroy more lands. I know it sounds like the dark side is taking over, but once you go Numot, once you select Numot as your general, there's no turning back. You can't get halfway down the road and decide you don't want to destroy lands. So, you want to destroy some lands. Now, how much... I'm not running like Stone Range stuff, but I do like Political Trickery. It's a different kind of land destruction. You can give them a basic and maybe take their whatever they've got that's awesome, their Mazavith, their Nykthos, their whatever they've got. Odds are is better than the basic land that you're giving them. Now, here again, Vandal Blast, because I love Vandal Blast. It seems right up Numots' alley, blowing up everything. It costs 5 mana. I don't know why they printed 1 in the top corner, because let's face it, this costs 5 mana. Shatterstorm costs 4 to destroy everything. I'll gladly pay 1 more to protect my own stuff. Bender Break is it's like a Armageddon variant that a lot of people just don't run. So it more or less destroys half. Now, Volcanic Eruption, because you're going to go up against red decks. Now, believe it or not, I couldn't believe this the other day. I have Volcanic Eruption in another deck, and it's just straight red-blue. And I actually lost to my opponent because they destroyed their own mountains. He drew it. I was at 3 life. He had 3 mountains. Sure. Boom. Blew up his own mountains. And I died. It was a beautiful thing. My son did that. I was so proud. Anyway. So we've got Wildfire. Remember Wildfire from Saga. And just in case one Wildfire wasn't good enough, they give us another Wildfire. And then in case that wasn't good enough, they bumped it up a mana and they hit 5 lands. So we're really wanting them not to have lands. Now, as far as land hate goes, Wake of Destruction is bar none the cruelest I've ever seen. Y'all know mono decks exist. Monocolor is a thing. I mean, I play with a lot of monocolor decks. People do. Wake of Destruction is nasty. Now, also, in big multiplayer games, you've got, like, almost everybody runs a command tower. Now, that does hose a lot of people, and you make a lot of enemies that way. And it's easy in a big game to pick one person and hose them. Like, you feel bad for doing it, but if it's, say, the antithesis of your deck, if you know that deck left unchecked will kill you, and some of your other players will leave you alone, a lot of them know that after that person dies, you're coming after them. But you can go around the board nuking different people's lands and trying to keep it in check, so that nobody has their reliquary towers or homeward pass or things like that. But Wake of Destruction can single-handedly just shut one person out of the game. And if you're lucky, or if they're extremely lucky, a couple of people. If you get a couple of... If your mono blue player can't answer this, I'll lose my 2 or 3 islands I got to make sure to kill all theirs. Anyway, Volcanic Fallout, Pyroclasm, Day of Judgment. Mass Calcified. We're going through creature removal spells here, obviously. And Whelming Wave, of course. Supreme Verdict, because let's face it, we're in the colors, so we might as well have an uncounterable day. Breaking Point. I kind of like me some Breaking Point. They're just about always going to take the 6. This is a... somebody's taking 6. And yeah, 3 mana for 6 damage is not great, but it's not bad either. Relentless Assault. And now, y'all seen one creature. I only have 4 other creatures. I have Hypersonic Dragon. Well, Hypersonic Dragon simply because I would love to be able to cast my Wake of Destruction at instant speed. That would be cool. And if I am really dead set on destroying your lands, I should probably steal your artifacts too. Or I could just destroy them. Now, Avatar of Slaughter. If you guys haven't seen this guy, yes, talk about a double, triple, quintuple edged sword. He's amazing. But he is 8 mana, 8/8. And he makes everybody swing. And everybody has double strike. And the idea is you're going to have Numot, and there's not going to be much else because, I don't know, if maybe you've stolen it, or maybe all the little guys died when they came into play. Here again, I really like the land steal thing. Teferi's Moat's going to protect you a little bit. Diplomatic Immunity is going to make sure that they don't mess with Numot. Sphinx's Rev for when you just got to draw them cards. Of course, the removal of the Disenchant and the Condemn. Now, Polymorphous Geist does not get enough love. People, this is a great card. Have you ever had something in that board state where they've got Avacyn and they're beaten down and you're sitting there holding your day of judgment or holding your answers that doesn't matter because they've got Avacyn and everything's indestructible and she's indestructible and she passes out indestructible like it's candy. Well, you know what? Polymorphous Geist. Hey, you ain't got no abilities. And I'm a Pyroclasm. Pretty sweet. There's a lot of abilities. Indestructible. It is the main one. Polymorphous Geist. This is the real deal. It does not target the creature, so even hexproof and shroudy creatures you can get through. It's good. And I'm running the Flying Crane technique because I like spending 6 mana on an instant. Actually, I don't. But I love the art. I love the flavor. I love the fact that it's double strike. It's pretty much double strike version number 7 or something in the deck. I don't know. Here again, as we get more, I doubt we'll get more quality land destruction, but I think we'll get more quality double strike at some point in time because I really like the ability to hit multiple times. So Flying Crane technique might come out. I love the Savage Beating. The Savage Beating here. Now, as Evan would say, in Magical Christmas Land, you've got all this mana. And you've got your Fire Shrieker attached to Numot, and you've done first strike damage and paid the 3, and regular damage and paid the 3, and you've destroyed 4 lands, and now you're going to cast Savage Beating, and you're going to spend this 7 mana, and you're going to roar. Yeah, okay. That's a lot of mana, but anyway. Most of the time, I just normally cast this for one or the other. I try not to do the double strike thing because we have so many other double strike places. But last card I want to talk about is Storm Cauldron. A lot of people do not know about Storm Cauldron, about how it is maybe one of the evilest cards out there. As far as land destruction goes, you don't even have to destroy the land because every time a land is tapped for mana, it bounces. Yeah, you get to play 2 lands a turn. Nobody cares. You've got a lot of artifact mana. Storm Cauldron dies. Storm Cauldron dies a lot. It does. However, this is a early game annoyer. Is that it really deflects the interest to this card. Everybody gets annoyed about this card. Now, granted, there are some times that can backfire. You've got the Storm Cauldron, so you've got to die. Yeah, but just about every deck's going to run some way to deal with an artifact. But while this is out there, it's amazing. You can drop 2 lands a turn. You have, if you play it late enough, you have just about enough artifact mana in the deck to keep playing your spells and not getting behind the Storm Cauldron. Because nothing's worse than being behind in the storm. It's a Storm Cauldron. Here again, double-edged sword. But Numot, all about destroying the land, dealing the combat damage. The problem is that he is a 6, and late game, you tend to win by combat damage more than you do, destroying all their lands, which is good, because destroying all of somebody's lands is a little demoralizing. It really is. And this is not one you play a whole lot. This is a deck you break out every now and then, and typically it's one of those, I hate to use the term revenge decks, but if you're like most play groups, you've got 5-6 people, 5-6 games, you play a long time. Oh, you whooped my ass last game? It's coming. Well, anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. To be sure to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and let me know what you want to see. But as for right now, it's time to shuffle and cut.